welcome to another episode of Talking Smart with
PUGH.
And I'm McCART, that's Joe PUGH, and I'm Andrew McCART. Listen, episode 17, Joe, that's quite a funny one. It's a wee bit late than we normally are. You just got back from Manchester, the KSI and Tommy Fury fight. I'm on a family holiday in Southern Nest, which is in the south of Scotland. So it's a tricky one to try and get this organised, but we've got there in the end.
Yeah, we got there in the end. It might not be the smoothest sailing episode, but yeah, we're here. We're a bit later. It might not be the greatest quality of audio, but nonetheless, we've got stuff to talk about, Andy. And a big event last night, which I was at. Have you watched any of it?
You know what? I was trying to watch it on my phone, Joe, but I'll give you my opinion after I hear what you got up to last night, because I'll tell you what, if anything, Misfits know all about production and the show and all that sort of stuff. So on that side, I'll give them a thumbs up. But I'll save my 2 pence at the end here, and I'll let you dive in head first, because it seems like you had a ball out there and it was a fun fight week for you.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun fight week in Manchester. It was very hectic, probably one of the busiest I've ever done, but that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to this card. We'll start off there was upsets last night. There was actually a couple of good fights, I thought. I know we'll get to the main event, which obviously did disappoint. But Salt Pappy and Slim, I thought was just really good performance from Slim. Salt Pappy was getting caught over the top every single time. And that a great performance by Slim. Salt Pappy, Dean the Great will eat sharks. Great fight. I think Dean has kind of got fractures in both of his hands. I think if the fight had gone on any longer, it would have gone to a lead. Ed Matthews stepped in at a day's notice and knocked Swarms out in like 1 or 2 punches, which was crazy. I think the most entertaining aspect, love it or hate it, entertainment is the tag team boxing. That is absolute carnage from start to finish. And you've got to love it. You've got to love it. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. And then obviously the main 2 fights, Logan, Dylan. I thought Logan actually boxed quite well considering how long he's been out of the ring for. But yeah, Dylan didn't throw much, but then the carnage at the end, I expected nothing less. I think it was a big stage for Dylan Dennis to make his mark on the world, and he certainly done it last night. KSI Tommy Fury, it was just one of those fights that didn't catch light. It was always going to be tricky because KSI is such an unorthodox fighter, and Tommy was trying to do stuff. I know there was a lot of talk at the end. I saw Joe Markowski, people around from the zone, they weren't happy with the scorecards. Team KSI weren't happy with the scorecards. Personally, from what I saw, I haven't watched it back yet. I thought Tommy Fury won it. But yeah, what did you think? There's so much to pick from this because it was just a festival of carnage. I'll describe it as, mate.
Well, that's exactly what it was, carnage. And I don't know if I said it to you in a couple of podcasts ago, Joe, that the most entertaining thing of these Misfits cards for me, well, it's not entertainment, but it seems like the most action and the most, most of it comes from the press conferences and the weigh-in. Yep. I think that's the most fun and the hype and all that goes because the fights are damn squids. I mean, I don't know if that's even a saying, but there's nothing. The fights are poor. There's nothing game matches, heavy mismatches, or they just don't ignite. And that's the sort of my 2 looking from the outside. I've never done one of these shows, Joe, and I've never had the experience of the fight week like you. And I know that you love it because it's a buzz, because like you say, it's entertaining, and there's a lot of folk there, and it's a lot of celebrity world, and it grips the imagination of a lot of people. But everyone wants to see the final product, which is the fight. All right, it's all good making the cake, but if the cake comes out the oven and it tastes like shit, then you know what I mean? I think that's where I am with it. I just think that the fights last night for me and that, like I say, I'm on a holiday with my family right now, and the reception wasn't great, and it was just jumping in and out. So I couldn't really make too much of the fights. But what I did see was I didn't see much when the signal was going out. I didn't see much. I think that KSI, Tommy was wanting to engage. KSI didn't want to engage. He held on too much. I know he was screaming robbery, KSI, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. But I think the only thing he was robbed of was a kiss after all the cuddling he was doing.
There you go.
So that's my 2 pence there. But like I say, I don't know where I am with it, Joel. I asked you this question last week. Does this have a shelf life? This Misfits and this sort of like YouTube boxing?
And to be fair, my answer to it last week was we'll see how this week's goes. And I still don't know. I still don't have the answer, to be honest, because I think there's a lot of positives and some negatives to take away from last night. And it depends how Misfits as a brand, Misfits as a company learn from that, because that was their biggest card today. It may have been there. We don't know. We really don't know. But I think if you take away the best parts of it from last night, then you can continue to develop it. But like for example, I think everyone loved the tag team fight, and I know your hardcore boxing people will say it's an absolute disgrace and that, but Misfits isn't boxing. Misfits is just Misfits. It's in its own lane. And yeah, I think that was fantastic. I think Waleed Dean was a competitive fight. I think it was a really good fight, and every promoter in world boxing can take a leaf out of their book when it comes to production, when it comes to getting the crowd going. I know we're never going to have a packed out O2 Arena at 7 o'clock for a Sky Sports fight like they do there. That's just not going to happen. But that they was handing out on every single chair last night. They had a hat and a t-shirt. Right, it was getting the crowd involved straight away. Then they had these bracelets that made all flashing lights. It was just from a spectacle. It was a brilliant spectacle. I don't know if you've seen KSI's ring walk come out with a Lamborghini gigs.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. So there are positive things to take away from it, and I think if it didn't even need to catch light properly, but KSI had just held a little bit less, and it just kind of caught fire just a tiny bit, I think everyone else would be talking very, very differently about it today.
I think my problem is, obviously, I'm an old head here, Joe, and this is what I like about the way when we have these podcasts, because you're looking at it from a different angle from where I look at it, and I think that's what makes this good, because you've got a different view on everything. Obviously, being a younger Cockney guy, and I'm an old jock who's quite grumpy. But I think when you look at the press conference in a way, and they're throwing bottles at each other, spitting on each other. I mean, boxing, the gym I'm from, Lochend, takes young kids off on the street that are in trouble and all that. And I don't want these kids. That's what boxing is all about. It's a working man sport. But when you see young kids looking at that press conference, bouncing bottles and spitting on each other, that's not the impression you want. And it seems like every press conference is the same. Every weigh-in is the same. They're either jumping off the seats at the press conference wanting to fight each other. They're throwing things at each other, spitting water at each other. I just think, for me, I know you get it in professional boxing. I'm not trying to hide that. Listen, I know that happens in professional boxing as well. But it just seems like every press conference is the same. It's like you're doing too much in terms of the negative side of things. Do you know what I mean? It just seems to be going upwards. The spitting and all the rest of it. Dylan Dennis went deep with Logan Paul, and it was getting too personal. I think that needs to. I didn't quite like that, but I don't really care, to be honest, and what they two get up to and whatnot. But I just think, I mean, like you say, it stayed in its own lane. But then if it stayed in its own lane, then you had KSI saying that at the end of a camp, he can give Canelo, Bivol, and Beterbiev a good couple of rounds, or you can give them a good fight. I'm like, no, you can't, mate. You can't. And I don't know if that was tongue in cheek. I didn't really see the full interview. I just
hope so.
KSI saying, yeah, I think it was. Hopefully, it was tongue in cheek. But you know what it is, man. It's entertaining. My son loves it. So he phoned me this morning saying, Dad, my eldest son, And Dad, did you watch it? Did you see this? Did you see that? Like, son, to be honest, my signal was terrible on my phone. I'm down in Southern S with your brothers and sisters and that. So it was just terrible. You there?
Yeah, mate, I'm there. I'm there.
Yep. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe I want to do one of these shows. I want to just dip my toe in it just to see what it's like being on the ground rather than watching from the out. I'm always the outside looking in. I'm never in,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, Joe.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe one time, like I know where I stand on it, right? I don't quite like it. I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative here. I don't like it. But like I say, I can see why people like it because it's the entertainment value, because they're doing something different. They've got the tag team boxing, which again, I know Lee Eaton takes his boy there, Adam Brooks takes his boy there, so it's the kids love it, all right? Because like you say, it's entertainment. They're getting T-shirts, they're getting this. Logan Paul and KSI have built their brand and built their sort of following from these young kids that fall and playing FIFA and doing these pranks and all that, and they've stuck by them, built this massive following that are going to follow them all the way through it. So it doesn't really matter if it's going anywhere or not. I think Logan Paul, KSI, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, they've now got a huge following where I don't think this will end anytime soon. I think it does have a shelf life, but I still think it's got a lot of legs left in it.
Yeah, just going back to the point about the spitting and just the general antics of a Misfits press conference / Wayne that we've all become accustomed to since it formed last year. I think there's a fine line. Completely disagree, and would say disgusting about the spitting. Like that is not what role models for kids should be doing. Because let's have it right.
Yep.
KSI, and all of these Misfits guys are role models for the younger generation. So yeah, I think there's a fine line, but I think it does need a bit of that. It does need a bit of whether it's made up or not, a bit of push and a pull, because it does at the end of the day engage the kids. But there is a very fine line, and I just do want to highlight a positive side of it. Because whilst KSI and John were doing their thing, there was two fighters on the undercard, Whindersson Nunes, who's massive in Brazil, and my mate Nate, who's massive in Thailand. They actually went the other way and gave each other flowers and sweets at the press conference, hugging each other. So there is another side to it, but I do understand your point with the spitting. Yeah, I think that is too far.
Yo, the reason we get it in professional boxing, right? I'm not trying to say that. It just seems like every press conference and every weigh-in is the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we get it now, all right? We get it now. But see, I just think like the press conference and the weigh-ins are more entertaining than the actual fights themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The fights, for me, do you know what I mean? I just feel like if you want to put on a show, it's the end product. It's not everything in between. It's not the weigh-in. It's not the press conference. It's the end product on the night. That's why people come and see. They don't come and see the press conference. They don't pay to come and see the press conference or the weigh-in. They come and see the fight. Now, again, that's probably me being the old man that I am and being grumpy that I am. That I want to see a good fight. I want to see a great fight. Do you know what I mean? Whether if you want to call it boxing, if it's Misfits boxing, right. And that's why I give Jake Paul and KSI props, right? I'm not taking anything away from them. Even Logan Paul, they can box to an extent. Right, and they do train hard, and they put in a 10-week camp, 8-week camp, whatever it is, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, right? So that's got to be respected. But the end product needs to be better, I think, and I think that's where, especially you look on YouTube, a lot of like professional boxers are saying, "What the fuck is this?" and whatnot. But so I'm sort of like on their sort of side of the tracks right now. But like I say, maybe I should be on the ground and see what's what and get to know these guys, because I don't know any of the personalities like you. You know the personalities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, it's one of them ones like, what's that? Sorry, you go, Joe. On you go.
Sorry. I was just going to say, just to play devil's advocate, I think this is just the difference with boxing and Misfits for a lot of it is if you're a prospect, a young boxer, you're fighting to kind of build your record, then you're might fight for an area title. You're not fighting for because you got beef with an opponent. A lot of these misfits fight because they've had a row with the opponent. That they're not worried about, let's build this record and I'll fight for a title. So I think that's sometimes why there is more craziness at these press conferences, because they're not there to go 10-0 to move on to a Southern Area eliminator. They're there because they've had some Twitter beef, and now they want to get in the ring, earn some money, and end it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that's why you do have to separate it. You have to separate both entities, because the targets are very different for both types of fighter. Your traditional professional boxer and your misfits fighter.
Yeah, I'll probably I'll jump on the flip side of that coin and say how much of that is actual beef.
Oh, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Or how much of it is actual, I hate you to the point where I want to punch your teeth down your throat, or just like, you know what, let's earn some money together. Like, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, I've jokingly said I would love to fight in the misfits, but I'll probably just I'll probably stop saying that now, because I don't think I could go down that route, even though I'm probably too old to fight anyway. But I'm just like, I couldn't do it, man. Yeah, after all the things I've been saying now about it and how I don't like it, and I imagine that would just be ridiculous for me to actually fight on a card. Do you know what I mean? Even though it would be fun, because we can do a whole IFL thing. Cook can be in the corner with me. You could hold the spit bucket, Joe. Do you know what I mean? We could have a good laugh with it and get a good sort of like fight week as well. You be at the weigh and holding the towel because I haven't made weight, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I won't be looking that side of it, mate. But yeah, I'll be in front of the towel. But yeah, no, it would be fun. But I'm just to kind of round this up, I'm quite looking forward to seeing their next show, which got announced yesterday. Right. I don't know if you saw it, but
I didn't see it, Joe. Nope, you need to let me.
The next show is going to be at the York Hall.
All right, okay.
Which is
the home of boxing, the mecca of boxing.
Which is very, very strange. And Mams Taylor said it's going to be York Hall like you've never seen York Hall before. I don't really know how you can make York Hall any different. So I'm very intrigued for that one. I'm very, very intrigued for that one.
And who's going to be on the card then? Obviously, it won't be like the KSI types, will it?
So far, it's just the main event fight has been announced. Not even the fight, just the fighter. It's FaZe Jarvis, who was in the Kingpin tournament. He's relatively big for that world. There was a video of him doing some bits with Mayweather around lockdown, and he does take it seriously. FaZe Jarvis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that'll be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't take anything away from them, because putting in an 8-week camp, right, putting your body through all that, it is a tough ask when for any, you know what I mean? The hardest part for me is stepping through them ropes and going to fight somebody that, with the knowledge of getting knocked out, do you know what I mean? In front of all these thousands of people, millions of people that are watching, right? It takes a brave person to do that. So I give them all respect in that sense. But like I said, I want the product to be better at the end.
Yeah.
Right? I'm getting a wee bit fed up of the press conferences and the weigh-ins and all that. And it's like, yeah, we've seen it all before, right? But are you actually going to put in a good fight for us? Do you know what I mean? And like I said, Joe, I've not watched a whole card like you. You mentioned one of your mates from Thailand.
My mate Nate, yeah.
Your mate Nate, yeah, from Thailand, and that other guy that do you know what I mean? They put in a good fight and they respected each other. And I didn't see that. Do you know what I mean? Again, I'm not in that world and I haven't dipped my toe in it yet. And I probably will dip my toe in it because I want to see what it's like on a fight week.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just get to know these personalities. But yeah, like I say, as long as you had fun, you, Coogan and Oscar were there. So it must have been a good old fight, because the celebrities were out in force. I seen everybody in the cat and dog was out there in Manchester last night.
Yeah, it did have a big fight feel. Just everyone was just in and around Manchester. Oh, you going to the fight tonight? You managed to get a ticket for the fight tonight? People coming up to us in the hotel asking if we can get them tickets for the fight. It really felt like the city stood still for this one last night, which is rare in this day and age.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I put up a post saying, "Oh, the sooner this goes, the better." Maybe that was me. Maybe I had a one too many Guinnesses, and that's why I sent out that post. But it was just like, I think I want to listen. I need to do one. I need to do one. And if they ever come to Scotland, which I don't know if they will, I'll definitely do it. But like I say, it's entertainment. The kids love it. My kids love it, so I can't really grumble on that on that sense. And you love it, Joe. I know you do, young man. It's right up your strata. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something different. It's something different. Look, as we said last week, Wood Warrington absolutely loved it. Next week, well, actually, he's absolutely going to love it. But it's something different in the middle. And yeah, as long as you treat it differently, I can see where there's room for it.
Definitely. And listen, you keep doing what you're doing because you're smashing it on these things, mate, and you're doing very, very, very well with it. But I just want to touch on some boxing that did happen last night in Tim Tszyu and Janabek Alim Kanuli, who's Janabek is for me is just one of the freakiest. He is just the absolute talent, southpaw, Kazakh, absolute brute force. And Tim Tszyu, these two fighters here. Young, I don't know if they're young to be honest, but they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. And when they get to that elite world level, they're going to be in some cracking fights. So I'm looking for. Both got their wins last night, both world champions. So it's going to be exciting times when they two get to that sort of like level where they're fighting a name that we can get our teeth into. Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen Janabek and we've seen Tim Tszyu. We want to see Tim Tszyu maybe against a Charlo because that fight's been talking about. We want to see Janabek in the middleweight division. What we've got Charlo up there. You've got Golovkin. We don't know if Golovkin's coming back. So imagine the two Kazakhs going at it, the old dog and the young lion. I don't know if that'll ever come off. I don't know what Golovkin's thinking with that one. And you said you were at Dan Aziz next week. Dan Aziz and Boatsy.
I think I will be, mate. And you are at Caterol Linares. Can Linares roll back the years?
Caterol Linares, yeah.
Be a good one, mate.
Oh, I don't know. Like it looks like from what I've seen training videos of it, Joe. I've seen some training videos, and he looks like he's got the bit between his teeth. Hoagie Linares.
He's back with his old team as well. Is that right?
The fact that everyone's written him off because he's coming off 3 losses. Pardon, say that again. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. There's a little delay. Sorry. I said I think he's back with his old team, Linares.
Yep. Salas as well. Yep, and so hopefully, listen, it's probably the name that Jack needs a little bit because if he wins this fight, that Haney and Prograis winner could be there for him. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously with the matchroom banner, especially if Prograis wins, then that sort of matchroom banner for Jack Caterol is that fight for him. And I think that was a great fight. When you look at Jack Caterol's style and Prograis style, I think they just gel nicely for an all-out war and a great fight. So listen, I can't wait to get back to it, get my teeth back into it, and get another fight week under my belt. It's been too long for me. And listen, well done last week, mate. Well done to Coogan as well and young Oscar. You absolutely smashed it out of the ballpark, which was good to see. Good hard work, and keep doing it, mate. Keep doing it. And like I say, hopefully one day I'll get on a Misfit show with you, and you can show me the ropes.
Yes, certainly. Thank you very much, Andy, for taking some time out of your family holiday in the car. As I say, might not have been a plain sailing, a little bit of delays there today, but we've got there in the end. Make sure you catch it at TalkSpark with PUGH McCART. You know what platforms we're on by now. And normal service will resume next week, Andy, yeah?
Definitely, mate, definitely. I'll be in Liverpool, you'll be in London, and keep your eyes peeled for all the content for the 2 massive fight weeks next week. So enjoy it. And Joe, I'll speak to you on Sunday next week, mate.
Speak to you soon, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.